Hi, welcome to Matt Holman Golf. Found some really good footage of Jimmy Walker here, and I thought I'd share it with you and take a look at his swing. He's obviously been in some great form recently, putting exceptionally well. Um, but I thought we'd look at an iron swing here. We've got it from both views. So, in terms of setup, I think his stock shot, he likes to play a small draw. So I think he's set up pretty neutral here. I read a good article on some of the work he's done with Holman over the last couple of years. He's gone from maybe didn't win in 180 odd starts and maybe 500, 1,000 in the world to now he's getting near the top 10, definitely top 20 in the world. So a couple of things they talked about that they worked on, and to be honest, in reality, I'm sure his swing from 2 years ago to now is not very different. I think it's something, the confidence that can come from working with someone like Holman. You've got someone in your corner like him saying that you've got a good game. I think it gives you a lot of confidence and belief. So one of the moves he was talking about there worked on was to feel the club more outside his hands. So you can see that now the club doesn't move sort of inside or under this red line at all. We talked about had a tendency for the club to move under that line. And I think if you usually play a draw, that tends to happen. The club face is very much matching his spine. So he's got a great look there. Halfway back, arms are right through the middle of his chest. One of the things I noticed with at times Jimmy Walker gets a little bit across the line. I know again in an article already said that he tended to get a little bit narrow and a little bit too long, so that's something he's worked on with Butch to slightly shorten and widen the swing. He felt that actually gave him a bit more power and consistency. I think one of his keys to power, he's obviously quite a tall guy, you can see he's got strong legs there, but he gets his arms quite a lot above his head, so we often talk about a position where we like to see the hands or that butt end of the club pretty much on that cross. But having said that, if you have the flexibility and you contain your body angles, and like Jimmy's there, really got his arms up in the air, it's an incredibly powerful position. I worked with Butch's son for a few years, Claude Harmon, and one of his players, P.G.A. line, very good player, has a similar look at the top, gets the arms quite high, incredibly powerful position, and that's why Jimmy's sort of in the top 10, top 20 every year of driving distance. So from here, he does a great job of everything sort of turning, passive lower body, club's very much in front of him, no sense of that club dropping underneath. I think, one of the areas that I notice in his swing, you can see it impact his slight draw of the ball there. The forearm line tends to look a little bit right, which we'd expect to see in a draw of the ball. You can also see how his shaft angle has tended to raise up relative to where it started, and maybe a little bit more than some. Again, it's a very powerful way to swing. Certainly you tend to see that in guys that draw the ball a little bit more. But really good looking move. At times maybe it's not quite as consistent tee to green as you'd like when that with that shaft position, if he gets a little bit long. Then he goes ahead and very much matches the arm plane he went back on. So very simple movement. On the right hand side, let's take a look. Really good looking setup. Ball position is just ahead of middle. Everything really what we're looking for. Talked about as well, he'd worked on with Butch just which he likes to see in most of his players. A little bit more movement off with the upper body than maybe previously that he had done, but the hips stay very much centered. The lower body is extremely stable there. He's got fantastic flexibility to get his arms that far behind his head. Incredibly powerful position, and then great looking transition where the lower body really moves forward. Exactly what we're looking for. Head stays very stable, a little bit behind. I know he'd worked on a little bit to feel like it's compressing it a little bit more shaft lean. then he likes to stay behind it, release the shaft in a classic draw style swing.